Good evening, everyone. Good evening. Welcome to all our distinguished guests. I'm seeing they are yet joining in yet. I welcome you all to this PMI UAE webinar series over here and joining us as a guest, as a colleague, as a friend, and all together as a kind of participant that is very meaningful to us. And then your presence is a one of wonderful gift to all of us, actually. So, more importantly, before we begin our session tonight, we have, let's see how many people are just in come in. Okay, I can see more than 120 people have come in. So I welcome all of you again, Maraba, and then good evening, good morning, or good afternoon, depending on wherever you're joining it from around the world. And it's absolutely a pleasure to have you all with us and a delight to connect with this global community of the experienced project professionals. I'm seeing the couple of people started messaging it out there, and you can definitely tell that you're coming from which city and which industry you belong to. Definitely, that will be a good opportunity for you to get connect with the people in that matter. Welcome to the chapter webinar series for the people who have been coming new to it or the have been repeated regular members. This is a space where we bring the ideas to meet the actions and then experience also to get into the perspective of getting inspired to all of us. My name is Anchal, and I'm your host here and moderator for this particular webinar. And behind the scenes, I have a couple of people joining from the team, Joyce, Amir, and also Nikki, and who are helping me out to making sure everything is running fine and seamless so that all of us can focus on our learning and engagement together. Today's topic is, of course, something which is connected with projects, of course, but importantly, the topic is why the great project managers fail and the human side of the project success looks like what. That's the today's topic we are going to ponder about. And importantly, the project success in which we all work as a professionals, is often associated with predominantly from the areas of tools, methods, processes, expertise around functional or non-functional technical requirements. However, like many well-structured projects are not always succeed, not because they are poorly planned, but also important factor because they all handle a common denominator of humans together, right? And that's a delicate element in it. And this particular session today is going to explore the behavioral and psychological dynamics that really influences these project outcomes, and including the communication patterns which we normally use to often communicate with different people around us and around the situations. How do we emotionally respond and react to those under the pressures, and also the decision making biases which we all carry as a human being with ourselves. The session is going to practically offer the insights to help all of us to better navigate our team dynamics, because we all mostly work in the some part of the team, manage the resistance, and also to lead more effectively in this complex environment around the project's world. Some housekeeping notes for the session will be somewhere around 75 minutes long, and I will start with the PMI UAE chapter brief introduction, and after that we will definitely will host a interactive Q&A session at the end. Please post your topic related questions in the Q&A panel, not in the chat. And also feel free to share your reflections, because that's more important, that what only not what you're listening, but what you have understanding and what's your thoughts around it, and that your collective experience enriches the discussion there. Every participant will earn two PDUs as a part of this particular webinar, and this particular PDUs will get credited to your account automatically from the PMI side, if you have registered this webinar with the same email address of your PMI account. So allow me to share my screen quickly and then take you through the chapter introduction quickly, and then I will introduce our speaker as well to you after that. So the chapter is, of course, is the part of the bigger community, which is the project management, which is, of course, being founded by the group of project managers way back in 1969 in US. And even after their half of the decade, half of the century, we are still living as a kind of important community body, which is one of the largest professional organization across the world. and also globally recognized for the standards and credentials. And that's what the PMI makes it much more special to all of us. PMI also gives you a lot of training accreditations and also sponsor and publish the research, thought leadership, and knowledge content. Specifically, coming to the UAE chapter of the PMI, we have the vision to empower and influence individuals with the innovative project economy principles to turn their ideas into reality. The mission statement says that to disrupt and create value driven opportunities to our chapter members and the partners to become agile, innovative, productive in the platform for the growth of project economy. The chapter is 100% run by whole soul volunteers, and we have 6,000 plus active members now. And we are among the top five chapters in the IMO region, which is one of the proud moment to all of the chapters and their members and the volunteers. And our focus is to focus on the industry practices and trends and serving all of you in the form of capabilities and the offerings that believe is important to your professions. We all depend on you to make this app chapter activities as interactive and invigorating as much as you can, because even from this angle, whatever you're sharing thoughts is also the part of this engagement, and we also collect the feedback at the end of the webinars to understand the value of your topic, speakers, and of course the rest of the areas where you are interested furthermore to look at into. The board of directors is led by Samina Abdul Rahim as a president, and the rest of the board of directors are helping her from their areas of expertise. And the member benefits, of course, we have a networking opportunities, we have a learning and knowledge sharing, discussion groups, WhatsApp groups, mentoring programs, career growth programs of certification, learnings, master classes, even the events for the diversified webinars as a part of these events. And furthermore, we are going to plan furthermore face-to-face events, most of importantly, every quarter once at least. That's what we always strive for. We have the members corner, member spotlight opportunities for the people who want to share their articles, thought process, interviews, and so on and so forth. Please get in touch with newsletter at pmiua.org for the same. Of course, there is a lot of other information and useful content available over the YouTube. This webinar is also getting recorded and will be published under the YouTube channel of the PMI UAE chapter. And of course, there are other social media handle channels for you to pursue around. If you have particular queries around the volunteering or general inquiries, please use the email address mentioned over the slide over the down there. And of course, the pmiua.org is the website, which is the one-stop shop for all of us to go and then check what is going around and what is coming around. So with that, I have to close my screen share, and then that gives me an opportunity to introduce our speaker. And she has been eagerly waiting, and I'm also eagerly waiting for her to understand. But let me introduce Ghalia. So Ghalia is a PMP certified project manager, leadership and management coach, and a strategic trainer with over 15 years of experience leading the projects, developing the teams, and also she's delivering across government, corporate, and community environments. Ghalia has delivered over 1,000 hours of training in project management, leadership, and human skills. And of course, she has been working around diverse audience from young professionals to the senior leaders. Her work focuses predominantly around bridging the project management with human behavior. That is what the today's topic is around, and the leadership psychology. And in fact, it's one of my favorite area because human psychology is something which I have been closely following through in my past research area as well, and helping project managers to move beyond the frameworks and to lead more effectively in this complex navigating environment to drive the right results around. Currently, Ghalia is leading the strategic marketing and communication initiatives within the government entity in Dubai and managing the cross-functional projects with the stakeholders. So the Ghalia is with us, and it's our indeed a pleasure to have her with us and to understand that what her human psychology behavior uh, bring the light to the table, and especially from the complex environment where we talk about people, process, technologies, and more importantly, the behaviors together. Let's see what's on the plate. Over to you, Ghalia.
Good evening, everyone.
Good evening.
Let me share my screen. Okay. Can you see my screen?
Not yet. Yeah, now it started appearing.
Okay.
You have to make it a full screen to, yeah.
Full screen now?
Yeah, I can see the title slide over there. Why great managers fail. Yeah.
Okay, great. So, good evening, everyone. I'm very glad I'm here with you today in this session. Thank you so much for the introduction, Ankle. And this is a great pleasure. Actually, I'm a big fan of the PMI UAE chapter, as it is one of the most active chapters in all over the world. In today's session, and before we start, um, let me tell you why I focus more on the human side of project management. I started working 16 years before. Um, I was very young. I was just 18 years old. I finished high school and started. Sorry, the voice is good. Someone is saying there's
Yeah,
an echo.
somebody's saying is that echo is there, but I don't see any echo there. Is the slide is also full screen? Is it half screen showing to me as well, or is it? If you change the slide, please once. Next one. I just want to check: is it appearing full screen there?
Okay.
Because it's showing. Yeah. Just change the QR code one. It is showing full screen when you change the next slide. Otherwise, it's showing.
It's full screen for me.
Okay, so left hand side is showing blank. Possibly this is the format. No problem. Go ahead. The sound sounds fine. You go ahead, Galia.
Okay, great. Okay, so I started working 16 years ago, and I was very young. I worked in different places, and I was really I liked the experience. I liked the knowledge, and I was just trying to figure out how things are going in the labor market. Back then, after working in different places, I started noticing that a lot of people focus on the technical skills. Are you an expert? Do you have the knowledge in your technical or in the field that you are working on? But very few people focused on the human side of the work environment. And I had to learn the lesson in a very hard way. I started working on myself by myself. And at that time, I promised myself that I will make the way much easier for other people because I don't like to see someone else struggling. So when I started working on projects like around 10 years ago, I worked in different fields and industries, and that was very interesting because I'm a very well organized person. Um, so when I started seeing that even sometimes when we have the technical skills and we have the knowledge, there is still a piece of a puzzle missing. So I started looking into how things are working on the human dynamics level, and I started to figure out what's going on wrong. And this is where I decided that leadership and management from a human perspective, from a psychological perspective, is my thing. So now, in today's session, we are going to talk about the human side of projects, which is like we always focus on the methodologies, and we always focus on the tools and the templates and the reports and how things are going on the level of the technical side. Let's take a look today. But before we start, I want you to scan this code and uh, um, keep the link open till the end of the session. Okay? So if you cannot scan the code, you have the link in the chat now. Okay, let me go to this page. Let's go here. So after you scan the code, and after you scan the code, I want you to answer this question for me. What's one human challenge that has caused you more trouble in projects than any methodology ever did? Okay, see. ego, mistrust, fighting between teams, procrastination, timelines, miscommunication, resistance to change. Nice. Quality, favoritism, taking ownership, time management, attitude, politics. Nice. Conflicts, biased, responsibility. Great. Lack of knowledge. Okay. Okay, that's nice. Silo work. Yes, great. Miscommunication, competence, understanding. Okay. Biased approaches, ignoring. Nice. Corporate politics. Okay, great. We have a lot to talk about today. Okay. So if you look at the uh, um, if you look at all the words or all the challenges that you've shared, you will have something in common. Everything you mentioned is related to people, is related to humans. So project management is often taught through the frameworks, the methodologies, the processes, the tools, and the structured execution models. But these elements are essential, and of course, they are essential and undeniable. But they organize work, they manage complexity, and they deliver outputs. However, despite all of these advancements in project management practices, many projects still struggle. So we can still see that projects are executed very well. We have delivered the project, everything is fine, and everything is as expected. But still, was this okay? Still, was the project a success on all the meanings of success? Okay, sorry. Sorry if you are hearing some sounds. It's the alarm. Okay. So projects are not operational systems. They have emotions, behaviors, and social systems as well. So we should look at the communication breakdowns, the disengagement, the stakeholder tension, the conflict, the burnout, the fear, the resistance, and the emotional exhaustion. This is why technical excellence alone is not a thing that guarantees that our projects succeed. And for that, coming to that, speaking of which, we come to something called the knowledge behavioral gap. Sorry, just a second, please. Okay, so the alarm was very loud and I couldn't just hear anything. Okay. Okay, so speaking of which, we come to something that is really common. Most people think that when we know something, that means that we are able to do it or we are able to execute it. But this is a very big misconception because knowing something doesn't mean that we can do it. And here becomes something that psychologists call the behavioral or the knowledge behavior gap, which is where people rarely fail because they don't know what to do. They fail because the right thing to do consistently is something that is hard. Because when we come into pressure, our brains go into the automatic system or what is familiar to them in all situations. So most probably, let's think about it on a project management level. Most project managers, of course, especially the ones who studied PMP, for example, or took international certificates, they know that they should listen actively, they should remain calm during conflict, they should have difficult conversations and not avoid them. They should communicate clearly. However, when we have tight deadlines, when we have stakeholders that are difficult to handle, when uncertainty increases, many of us find ourselves doing the exact opposite of this. This is not a lack of knowledge. This is a pressure that changes because this is a behavior that changes because of pressure. So, knowledge lives in the mind, and leadership appears in behavior. And that's why leadership, that's why pressure changes how we act to things. I can imagine that you can now remember a situation where everyone was fine until a pressure comes into the project. Like, for example, we are late to deadline, or a changes to deadline happened, or any other external changes happened to the environment, and everyone started to panic. And here, if you just stop for a minute and start observing how people are interacting to pressure, you will see a lot of hidden things that you weren't seeing before. Some people panic, some people stay calm, some people focus on the problems, some people focus on the solutions. And this is how the dynamics of the team becomes very complex in the pressure situation, or in pressure or uncertainty. And that's and it's very important to always remember that people react emotionally before they react on the level of operations, or rationally. And we think we have this conception that we take decisions, or we do reactions based on our logic. Most of the times it's not the case. Most of the times it's emotions. And it's very important for us as project managers to know that we need to make sure that we are noticing what's happening during pressure, so we can handle things and manage them on the level of the human side. Now, just go back to the same link and answer this question. When project pressure increases, what actually breaks first? What do you think? We have communication, trust, decision-making, collaboration, accountability, and emotional control. What do you think? Okay, see, emotional control. Nice. Trust, decision making. Still, accountability. No one is touching the accountability. That's nice. Trusting. Okay. Okay, still, emotional control is the winner. Nice. Okay. Emotional control, and then in the second place, communication. But still, emotional control is winning. And that tells us a lot about how we interact to pressure as humans, whether it's a work environment, a project, a big enterprise, or a small company, or a startup. In pressure, we have hidden risks. Pressure is one of the strongest behavioral forces inside project environments. So, in healthy conditions, teams may communicate openly, collaborate effectively, and solve problems rationally. That's very normal. When everyone is happy, when everything is fine, everyone has the ability to handle things in a good manner. However, but under sustained pressure, human reactions begin to change. So we have common behavioral changes that happen, like shorter communication, emotional defensiveness, reduced empathy, blame shifting, withdrawal, silence, increased tension, reduced psychological safety, and reactive decision making, which is all under the emotional control. An important observation in project environments is that people often react emotionally before they react operationally. Before visible execution appear, emotional indicators usually come first. So you can just see how the environments has first frustration, disengagement, fear, silence, emotional exhaustions, or passive resistance. And usually the operational problems come later. This is why emotionally intelligent leadership or project managers become critical in high pressure environments. So, in with one of the teams I worked with, there was two team members that had a small tension once, and then everything went fine until we had a project. We had a big event in an external location outside the work environment, and they had to work together on site in front of hundreds of people who were joining the event. In the middle of the event, in the middle of the pressure, they both exploded because that tension wasn't solved at the first place when it appeared in the work environment. They had to work together, but they didn't want to work together, and that was really bad because like they were the two main people working on site, and everyone was coordinating with them. So I can imagine how much pressure it was on the project manager to make sure that they work together. And of course, in this situation, the project manager had to use the autocratic leadership style because we don't have any luxury to or any time to just like sit and say that, okay, let's solve the problem, let's discuss this. It was on spot. Many organizations treat treat communication as a technical process. So we ask for updates, we ask for meetings, we ask for reportings, we ask for documentation, we ask for status tracking. However, communication in project environments is much deeper than information. So we need to we need to communicate on the level of the trust, the emotions, the power dynamics, the safety, the tension, the clarity, and the psychological signals. If this tension that came into on-site appeared on the surface in the event on-site was clearly managed before, it wouldn't be that hard to manage on spot. So we can give a lot of instructions to people. We can give them a lot of technical information. They still can understand them. They can master the technical instructions, but they can still feel that they are unheard, dismissed, unsafe, or emotionally disconnected from the work environment. And this is what happened with these two ladies. One of them felt that she always says that I have a problem with this person and it's very hard to work with her, and no one really listened until the snowball was just like a big snowball, and it was really hard to manage. And this is why communication problems are really communication problems. They are often indicators that we have deeper human dynamics that is affected inside the team. Coming to that, we always hear about the psychological safety environments, psychological safe environments. What is one thing that comes to your mind when you hear psychological safe? Just write in the chat. I cannot see anything in the chat if you're writing. Okay, now I'm seeing. Okay. Healthy environment, safety to express your concerns, emotional quotation. Okay. Fear, job security, freedom to express, safety, no judgment. Nice. Express your ideas. Why two people are able to be an honest conversation without an agenda. Nice. Mental peace, group politics, career progression, sorry. Emotional distress. Management buy-in, listening, understand. I'm reading very fast because I'm getting a lot of answers. So if I didn't read yours, please excuse me. Okay. Mutual understanding, no pressure, actively listening to my problems, smooth work, understanding. Nice, great. Okay. So see, Amy Edmondson, which is the Harvard professor who pioneered the concept of psychological safety, said that psychological safety, in short, is a shared belief that the team is safe for interpersonal risk taking. That means that people in psychological safe environments feel safe to ask questions, to admit mistakes, to challenge ideas, to raise concerns, or to offer new perspectives without fear of embarrassment, punishment, or being judged negatively. And psychological safe environments are important because most projects fail not because of lack of intelligence, but because someone noticed a risk, someone saw a flaw, someone disagreed with a decision, someone needed help, but they stayed silent because they were afraid to speak up. And when we have a psychological safe environments, a lot of things that you mentioned in the chat will be there. First, people speak up earlier. And it's not just about speaking up, it's about speaking up earlier. It's about speaking up exactly at the time that we see that uh, uh, I need to speak now. This is where when I need to speak. I will not postpone it later until things are becoming worse. So, in psychological safe teams, people raise issues before they become crisis. And they are more willing to say that I think we may have missed something, we have missed something, or I'm not sure that this assumption is correct, or I need help in doing this thing, or understanding this document, or doing this task. This improves that learning, adaptation, and error detection in the team. The second thing is that teams learn faster. Edmondson original research found that the psychological safety is strongly linked to learning behavior inside teams. Teams learn because people openly discuss mistakes. They ask questions, they share lessons learned, and they have more honest conversations. So, and just like always think that in order to learn, you need to feel that you are safe to make mistakes because no one can learn without making mistakes. Mistakes are an essential part or an original part of the process of learning. The third thing is that we have more innovation. Innovation increases. This is because we are more able to take risks. We are more able to tell about express our new ideas or the possibility, and without being afraid of the possibility of rejection, criticism, looking wrong, or just like bullying and so on. So when people feel unsafe, they stop proposing ideas, and when they feel safe, they are more open to experiences. They are more open to just speak about their new ideas and even experience the new ideas, even if they know that there's a space of failure. And the fourth thing is that decision quality improves. Leaders make better decisions when they receive accurate information. And to receive accurate information, we need more psychological safe environments. So everyone comes to the leaders and tell them that this is what's actually happening on site. This is what's actually happening on the level of the project. And without this, leaders often hear people telling them what they want to hear or what is good for them to hear, not what should be said. Finally, team performance improves. Research consistently links psychological safety with stronger team effectiveness, better collaboration, higher satisfaction, and stronger performance outcomes. One reason is simple. People contribute more um, of their intelligence when they feel safe. They are not just doing their work, they are not just checking the task list, they are involved, they are engaged in the work, and they have the motivation to do the extra thing or go the extra mile because they are feeling safe, they are feeling belonging, they are feeling that, okay, this is a place that I want to give more, even if I wasn't asked to do this. So, on the level of projects, many project managers focus heavily on the scope, the schedule, the quality, the budget, the governance. But psychological safety determines whether people will tell you when those things are at risk. So if you don't have a psychological safe environment, a lot of people will just like will shut down and they will not come to you and say that there is a risk of missing the deadline. There is a risk of, for example, going over budget and so on. And always remember that psychological safety doesn't make people softer. It makes information flow faster. So please don't just think that if I am going to make the work environment healthy and safe for my people, they are going to miss deadlines. They are going to just like sleep on tasks. They are going to just be more lazy. They're going to be less responsible because this is not the thing. The goal is not to create a comfortable team. The goal is to create a team where difficult truth or difficult information or difficult situation can be discussed earlier. And always remember that whenever we have pressure, and now I think everyone is having a work environment where we have a lot of pressure. I don't recall when was the last time I was working on a project that has an easy deadline, a very good budget, and a comfortable situation, and the right expert people in the team. And everyone was just really relaxed and comfortable to just do the work. I just don't recall. Do you recall any time like earlier where you had where you had the time to do it, where you had the good budget, everyone was comfortable, not everyone coming to you and saying, "Ah, the deadline was yesterday, guys, we need to do it," and the management is giving us more into our plates. Never happened. This is why This is why nowadays we need leadership more than ever. Everything is becoming complicated. Everything is becoming rapid. And if you want to just imagine how the hidden risks or how the hidden complexity of work environments is, just imagine that everyone is carrying a backpack. And this backpack, it has everything that is related to the human that we are and everyone else is. So we have our past experiences, we have our childhood, we have our cultures, we have our environments, we have our family history, we have our health, we have our relationships, we have our personalities, our traumas, all in this bag. And everyone is carrying this bag and roaming around everywhere they are going, even in the work environment. The misconception or the theory that says, let's shut off our personal life when we come into our offices so we can perform our work and then when we step out of the office, we can turn off on our personal things. This is something that, with all my respect, I don't believe in. Because at the end, we are humans. We are not robots. It's not a switch on, switch off thing. So when you start thinking of people and from this angle, you will always remember that if someone is reacting in a different way or in a way that is unexpected, you will always just not take it personal. You will start to see beyond this reaction, beyond these words, beyond this situation. You will know that no one is perfect 100% of the time. And sometimes, if someone is having struggles in their personal life and they came into a pressure at work, it might be so much for them to handle. This is not for us to say that it's okay for us to react bad or to treat people in a bad way in at work. It's for us to understand that when I see my people in the team or my team members reacting differently under pressure, then I need to know that there are something going backstage in their lives, in their minds, in their emotions. And when I start, like for me, I will just be honest with you. I was a very reactive person. I was like I I was someone who becomes angry very fast. When I started practicing this, when I started having some reflection, emotional regulation, emotional control, and this is not easy, by the way. It's not easy to control our emotions and start responding instead of reacting. When I started doing this, I started seeing things from a different angle. And now I'm the one that everyone under pressure comes to help them see things clearly away from the black cloud that is happening or that is being created in the tension of the work environment. So always look for the invisible KPIs, look for the trust level, look for the communication quality, the psychological safety, the emotional exhaustion, and try to understand what's going on beyond this. Okay? And just remember that these invisible KPIs, they determine how the visible results are. So when you see that there is a visible missed deadline, or there is a visible issue in the project itself, try to dive deeper into what's going on. It might be a tool, it might be a missed information, and it might be something that is deeper. And guys, when we talk about leadership, we always should remember that leadership becomes most visible during uncertainty, conflict, and pressure, because when everything is fine, anyone can appear calm and collaborative during stability. The true leadership challenge appears when projects become emotionally difficult, when things are going beyond just technical knowledge or technical tools or technical documents. Because under pressure, as leaders, some of us become create clarity, some of us create fear, some become reactive, some withdraw emotionally, some increase control excessively, some stop listening, and some unintentionally spread anxiety to the team. Can you remember someone who just like you felt that if that person wasn't here, things will be much calmer, even under pressure? Because these people, um, I will just tell you something. I always tell people in all the sessions, I tell them that leaders are like parents. And when you have stressed parents, you have stressed kids. When you have calm parents, you have calm kids. Because team members see leaders as role models. They see them as people who they look for. And when they see something from them, they mimic this thing, sometimes unconsciously. Sometimes we don't do it like we say that, okay, I will do like exactly like my leader is doing. Sometimes we do it because we think that if my leader, who I respect, who I know that they are in this position because they know much better, they have more experience, is doing this, then it's fine for me to do it. And just always remember that when you have your emotional state radiates to everyone else. So if you have good energy, it will reflect on your team. If you have bad energy, it will reflect on your team. And and teams often mirror leadership behaviors emotionally. If leadership becomes reactive, teams become reactive. If leadership creates fear, communication quality decreases. If leadership creates trust and stability, teams perform more effectively despite the pressure. This is why leadership is not separate from execution. Leadership directly affects the execution quality, and project managers influences the emotional climate, the communication culture, the trust levels, the collaboration quality, and the behavioral patterns inside the team. Okay, and just like speaking of teams who are mirroring the leaders. In one of the work environments I was working in, one day I was speaking to the manager, the CEO of the company. So I was talking about a project that is very important. I needed him to take decisions. During this conversation, one of my colleagues stepped into the office and interrupted me without saying anything. She just stepped into the office of the CEO and started talking to him, telling him that I need one, two, three, asking him about things. At that moment, I felt disrespected. This is because she didn't say, sorry, I just need to ask him anything. And even the CEO didn't say anything. He didn't tell her that I'm speaking with Ghalia now. Let's just like, can you wait a minute? Or sorry, Ghalia, I need to answer her about this because it's urgent, and so on. I stepped out from the office and I started observing the work environment. This is something I really enjoy doing, by the way, observance. So when I was observing how the work environment is interacting on the level of people, one of like one day I was talking to my colleague next to our laptop, and the CEO came and interrupted us the same way that happened a couple of days before. And I was like, I really smiled, and I thought that this is really interesting because if the CEO wasn't emphasizing this behavior, no one would do it. If you are not doing this as a leader, if you're not doing this behavior as a leader, at least then you are not telling anyone else who is doing this that this is wrong, or this could ruin the work environment or the culture or the moral of the team. So please make sure that whenever you see whenever you see a behavior that is unpleasant, take a step back and do a self-reflection and make sure that you as a leader is not doing this or not emphasizing this behavior. Exactly, because management lead by example. Great. Okay. And just like always keep this in mind, and just like you can take it as a note, the emotional state of you as a leader becomes the emotional state of the team. And what we should do as effective project managers is that we should understand that leadership is not only operational coordination. And the difference between leadership and management is that management is on the level of execution and tasks, and leadership is on the level of humans. So to be successful project managers, we need to balance between management and leadership and know when to use the management skills and when to use the leadership skills. So just as it's not the misconception that says that managers are the bad people and leaders are the good people. We need both of them, and both of them are good. Okay. So to be good project managers and effective project managers, we need to pay attention to communication quality, to the emotional dynamics, to the trust, alignment, stakeholders' emotions, the pressure management, and the team reactions, because they recognize that emotional when you have like when you make sure that you pay attention to these things, you will have more emotional awareness that is reflected on the operational intelligence. You will have communication as a behavior, not just exchange of information. Silence can be a sign of decision, of a warning sign of something bad that is happening at the backstage. Pressure changes decision making, and here you can just stop and say that now we are taking reactive decisions. Let's step back and pause a little bit to make sure that the decisions we are taking are effective on the level of our projects, not just like reactive decisions. And you need to understand that people don't perform at their best when they feel unsafe, ignored, emotionally overwhelmed, constantly defensive, or disconnected from a purpose. So that's why clear goals and clear purpose that has a shared understanding and on the level of project is very important, because when we know the direction, we all know the same direction, we will start going towards it in a collaborative way. No one will go in a different direction. It's like if we are a team on a boat, everyone knows a different direction, and everyone just like tries to sail into the directions in their mind. And then everyone, like the boat will start just going around and around. We will not reach any destination. And always have always work on your leadership skills, because leadership is a muscle. So when you have this muscle trained and practiced over and over and over again, it will not be easy for you to lead people. You will always find that there is a piece of puzzle missing. And I would say that honestly, any position that requires leadership and management is a hard position. This is a very long and hard way. However, whenever you see good results, whenever you do the right thing, whenever you do your homework as a leader and as a manager, and start seeing that um, people are interacting in a different way. The work environment dynamics is becoming more positive. That will reflect on the performance. That would reflect on the project success, and then you will see these outcomes, and you will say that it was worth it. And believe me, I was like in a lot of situations where, in the middle of the pressure, I was asking myself, Ghalia, why are you doing this? This has a lot of headache. You have to pay attention to everyone around you, because project managers are the bridge between everyone from the stakeholders, by the way. It's not just about the team members, it's about everyone who is involved, the management, the team members, the client, the suppliers, the entities that we are handling, the legal entities, the government entities, everyone who is involved. And this is a lot of pressure. However, it really pays off when you do it right. And I know how hard our work environments are now, and I know how complicated they are. I know how drained or burned out we most of us might feel. But if you wanted to make work environments better, we can start from ourselves, and that's my message. That's my mission in life. helping people starting from themselves to break this chain of suffering in the work environments and create work environments where psychological safety is number one, where people is number one and top priority. Because if you don't take care of your people, they will not take care of the work. They will not take care of the project, and everything will end up very bad. Even if you celebrated the success of the project, still, I know that a lot of hidden pains will be there. A lot of people will be feeling unpleasant uh, because because believe me, sometimes doing the task on time isn't just the ultimate goal. Because when we invest in leadership and psychological safe environments, it's not about performing the task, it's about performing things in a sustainable and effective way, where we don't waste any effort, any energy, any resources, budget, and so on. And finally, just like just remember that what do people remember more isn't the timeline, isn't the project, isn't the task, isn't the final physical output. They remember how they felt during the project. And when you inspire and influence people by your leadership, they will become better leaders, and this chain of suffer will be just broken, and the work environments will start to become better and better. We will start to have more psychological safe spaces where people come to create, not to
Nice.
face their stresses or just focus on problems, have headaches and have stresses and go back to their personal life. And until this, I just like um, always I will always be glad that I'm talking about leadership, and this is something that I really believe in. Sometimes it might sound very utopian, and that is not easy to achieve, but believe me, I worked back in Syria. I had a startup. I worked with 25 people who are working voluntarily without any money, and I could do all of this, and it was a huge success. Until now, everyone is just like messaging me from now and then saying that we didn't work with anyone else that could help us feel safe to create and to be innovative than that environment. I hope you enjoyed this session, and now it's your floor. If you have any insights, if you have any questions, please feel free to drop it in the chat or in the Q&A section.
Thank you, Galia. Interestingly, you have touched about a lot of your aspects of psychology and behavior, and then of course, a couple of things which you brought it out to the light was quite relevant. I was reading the comments from the audience as well, and it was quite a bit interesting because everybody has experienced these things, right? Small frame, big frame, recently in the past, or they are already into it at the moment, and you can see all the things coming out as flowing out into the environment here with the comments. Yet not any Q&A. Yeah, here's the go. So Srinivas has asked and put up the first one for us. So why most leaders are not committed?
Nice question. Okay. Um, I have a hard fact, which
Okay.
is not really pleasant. Most people step into leadership and management positions not because they have the leadership and management skills, but because they have worked in this company for 5 years, 6 years, 8 years, 9 years, or because they are brilliant in their fields. Being brilliant in a field doesn't mean that you will be a brilliant leader or manager, because these are different skills. And I believe that even education should include leadership and management skills in all over the industries, because this is something that we need. So if I became a middle manager, or if I became an executive manager, and I don't have the leadership skills, I will make the life of everyone else who I'm working with a nightmare, because I think that I'm always right. I'm the one who has experience. I want to sound bossy, because I think that if I didn't if I didn't just like become hard on people, they will think that I am a very soft leader. They will just take advantage of this. They will think that I am not going to hold them accountable for the mistakes they are doing. But effective leadership and true leadership isn't the opposite of being firm, or being, let's say, being someone who is committed. It's exactly the same. It's not about just like spoiling team members and telling them that it's okay if you make mistakes. Let's just enjoy making mistakes. It's not that. It's about making mistakes, holding everyone accountable, and making them feel that even if I make a mistake, it's safe for me. I will not lose my job any minute I do a very little mistake, because everyone makes mistake. And by the way, and in one of the TV interviews at Al Fujairah TV, we were talking about the dark side of the leadership. And one of the things I said back then is that it's very important for a leader to step in and say, I made a mistake, and to ask for feedback from the team members, because we need to humanize leadership. We are humans. Everyone is a human being. We do mistakes. That's okay. If I stepped as a leader and said that, hello guys, I know I'm the leader, or I just don't need to say that, I made a mistake. This is because I had lack of information. This is because I was reactive. This is because I didn't go through the situation very or as needed. It's okay. Let's find a way to make this right. That's it. Very easy. Just like humanize how you look into your leaders, and humanize how you look into your teams.
Okay, great. So we have another one is that would you like to share or refer any kind of resources in any form of courses, books, article, whatever what comes to your mind readily for emotional intelligence and the human side of development for the project managers?
Okay. For on the level of leadership, I would highly recommend Simon Sinek. Um, Seth Godin, despite his marketing guy, he has good insights on leadership. Same for Gary Vee. And on the level of emotional intelligence, the I would recommend Daniel Goleman. He's one of the people who talks a lot about emotional intelligence. So you can read his book, and you can also check his videos all over YouTube. On the level of
Okay.
courses, I don't have a specific course, but you can find a lot of courses that are effective on Coursera on the level of leadership, leadership, or organizational behavior, or psychology. Even if you, by the way, if you attended sessions about, or courses about psychology itself, it's very important for you, because you will be able to understand how people interact. In general, you can reflect it on your leadership side. And of course, if you need anything, I always provide sessions. I can give you any insights. If you connect on LinkedIn or my email, you can find it here. And this is my WhatsApp number also. And LinkedIn is very good. So email, LinkedIn, or WhatsApp number.
Okay. Thank you for sharing those connections there. I see one interesting one was more coming as a kind of it's more of a comment a bit, but is mentioned again a similar person that I would say that there's we as a middle managers are getting enough training and knowledge about the subjects constantly while we work, right? But there's a huge lack of the similar trainings, or I would not say even the training. Because I have personally felt, even you send the people on training, coming out of that back will not have a very long lasting impact of that knowledge sharing training, whatever we do
Mhm.
for the senior leadership management levels. And I believe to have a very comprehensive system, these sessions must be delivered to them as well. That's a comment. Thank you. So for somebody not mentioned the name, but that's a comment from the audience.
Yeah.
That's what they have shared it around. Okay, how
Yeah,
do we
this is
balance?
because this is because unfortunately, high level leaders have a lot of ego to think that they still need to learn. Learning is a lifetime process. We should not stop learning. And ego is one of the bad enemies of learning, by the way. If you started to see that you're having a high ego, that means you need to stop and pause and think twice before just like stepping into another ego level. Because once you start saying that I have enough information and experience, I don't need to learn anymore, then خلاص, you're just like done. You're you're having a big trouble.
Indeed. One important question is not marked in the Q&A, Galia, but I would like to take that up for sure because it's a strong question. How would you suggest to have a balance with uh, something like allowing for a mistake for the sake of psychological safety to learn from them versus avoiding a catastrophic failures, because those catastrophic failures apparently or incidentally doesn't happen immediately, right?
Mhm.
They are the
Mhm.
series of impact cumulative coming together of these mistakes over and over time. And of course, people try to improve, but still never get out of it sometimes. So, how do we want to balance it out in this whole scenario? What's your thought?
Okay. So see, there is a difference between a mistake and a pattern. And this is where we need to be more observant. So whenever I have someone in my team that is making the same mistake over and over again, despite me giving them the training, the tools, the whatever they needed, the coaching, even the guidance, that means that they have a pattern. And this is very different from mistakes. And whenever someone is doing a mistake, you can know that they are trying to avoid the mistake or they are trying to learn. The the trials always shine. You can always tell this person is trying hard still. They have, not all people are fast learners, by the way. But you can see signs that this person is learning. Uh, the second thing, or another thing to highlight, is that whenever we have a mistake in the work environments, the consequence of the mistake should be at the level of the mistake. So if you just like, for example, if you did a mistake and that costed the project $5, it shouldn't be treated like a mistake that costed the project $1 million. And this is how you should balance. This is how you should balance the reaction or the response on the mistake. And this is where balance started to appear. So if, for example, a lot of people make a small mistake or a mistake that is not really very major, and they get kicked off from their work. This is something that is really unfair. And whenever anyone else in the work environment sees this, they will have fear. They will feel unsafe. They will feel that if I did any small mistake now, they will kick me off too. And this is where you just like people start to respect the project and the team leader out of fear. And fear is not something sustainable, by the way. Whenever someone fears you because of your authority, the moment that you lose this authority, they will not treat you very well. They will not respect you anymore. This is because this is a respect of your position, not you as a person or as a leader. Whenever you influence them, they feel that you are on the same side. It's not about having a leader and a team on different sides and just having a battle all the time, or even making people in the same team feel that this is someone that I like in the team. This is he is from my side, and that person I don't like because they keep saying no, or they keep expressing different ideas, or they keep challenging my ideas as a leader. I don't like them. So you have a fight court. Everyone is fighting. Everyone is trying to defend themselves. And this is where like it becomes very toxic, because now we are not focusing on solving problems or correcting mistakes or improving things. We are focusing on defending ourselves and protecting ourselves. And this is how our brains work, by the way, because our brains are programmed to protect us. Whenever we see anything that is really doesn't feel safe or doesn't feel comfortable for us, our brain turns on the alarm, and we start to act in a very different way. We start to defend ourselves, we start to be reactive, get more angry, we start to um, expect bad things from people instead of just sitting together, guys, let's do something creative. Okay. There is a good question in the chat I would like to talk
Which
about.
one? Which one is that?
What is the most difficult human conversation a PM must have, and why do so many avoid until it's too late? This is a very good question, Lena. Thank you so much. Um, see, whenever you have higher emotional intelligence as a PM, you start um, you start avoiding hard conversation avoidance. And this is very important, because I think from my side, one of the hardest conversations is the one that it has bad news to your people. Whenever you have bad news, like for example, let's say I have a team member, and this team member had a lot of opportunities to uh, fix their behavior, to perform better, to have their things done, and they just have a pattern. They don't want to change. They don't want to improve. They don't want to do the job. And then you have to do the hard conversation. You have to sit with them and tell them that we had a lot of opportunities. We had a lot of conversations. We had a lot of I give you a lot of tools, a lot of chances, a lot of guidance, coaching, etc. And still you are not responding to any of these conversations or to any of this trial from my side. Then it's time for us to say that you are not the right person to be in this work environment. This is one of the hardest conversations, and we avoid, by the way, this is something I talked about too, which is avoiding hard conversations because we want to stay um, uh, loved leaders. We don't want people to hate us. We are afraid of rejection. We are afraid of people seeing us as mean people or mean leaders or rude leaders or hard leaders. That's why a lot of leaders avoid hard conversations. They they prefer popularity over doing the right thing. And whenever we remember that it's not really necessary for you to be liked, to be a good leader, a lot of tension and a lot of pressure will just like go away from our backs, because we start to focus on doing the right thing. And the right thing doesn't always mean that this is the easy thing or the comfortable thing to be done. Even on the level of us going into our teams and saying that we did a mistake as leaders, or we need your feedback, and someone comes to you with a feedback that says that for example, in the last meeting, you did something that is really inappropriate or something that affected the team dynamics in a negative way. And when you become more emotional intelligent, you will be able to do this in a more comfortable way because you will not keep taking everything personally. I hope I just like answered your question and I
Thank you, Gaya. I think, yeah, you elaboratively explained that one. It's a good question, Lena, over there. I would say that there are a couple of questions still waiting in the queue, but because of the lack of the time now, we are only 15 minutes over. I would definitely, you have already shared your connection there. The email address, people can get in touch with you and get them answered specifically in person over there with you in that case. But thank you so much, Galia. Quite interesting,
thank you so
inspiring.
much. Can I have a very quick feedback? If you go to the same link, please, and just like tell me in one word how you felt about this session.
The same QR code, right? You mean to say? Yeah.
Yes, the same.
I put it in the chat.
Okay.
Okay, thank you so much.
Okay.
Yeah, the
Okay,
link is
this
there.
one, or this one. Yeah. Uh, okay. Okay, to the feedback. One word. Tell me one word about how you felt about this session, or one word that stuck in your mind about the session.
Some people are
Okay.
posting it in the chat as well. So yeah, but
Okay.
it's very much similar. What you're outstanding, informative, servant leader, great, insightful, fantastic. So these great. Yeah, I think you got the good feedback there, Galia, over there. You can see a lot of great
Great.
words coming out there. So thank you so
That
much, first of all,
this is
for
great.
bringing
Thank you
this
so
all
much,
together.
everyone.
Thank you so much, everyone. And while we conclude the session today, of course, I would like to thank you, the audience who have been, and also to your speaker, every participant who has come across the globe, and our volunteers who make this webinars possible. Special recognition goes to our team in the membership, outreach, volunteering, finance, and the marketing colleagues, because these are the guys from the PMI guys who really make this all happen with what we are going through. And remember, leadership isn't about executing the tasks, and it's more than that, executing the task, because it's about inspiring the people, navigating the complexity, and leaving the legacy with the due impact there. So with that true measure of the being project professional isn't again being remembered by how many projects you have delivered, but how many differences you made for the stakeholders community and the people around you over there. So thank you so much, Galia, once again, and quite an inspiring session. And people can get in touch with you. I would like to take the final sign off from here on behalf of the chapter and my colleague Amir Joyce, Nikki, and his Anchal here, wishing you a continued success and inspiration in your project journeys. Until the next time, the new webinar session, we will be coming back. Thank you and goodbye. Take care.
Thank you. Thank you, everyone. Have a great